Hello lovelies, I'm Fola of Physique Fashion House. You are welcome here. If you have seen this tie on Instagram, I know you'll have either sewn it by now or you are planning to sew it. This tie is really nice, and when my client asked me to make one for her, I knew I just have to show my people on YouTube the process. In this tutorial, I will show you how to draft the underbust corset using a very simple slash and spread method, and how to get that amazing Basque effect. Watch to the end. So to make the dress, I'm having here with me the material I'll be using. I'll be using the, although in that thumbnail it was Ankara they used with like silk fabric as the plain parts, but for this, for me, I'll be making use of this adire. Some people call it Kampala. I have this Kampala of like 4.5 years to use for the down parts of that project of the dress. You know, it's very full and consume a lot of fabric, so I have 4.5 years. For the upper part of the dress, I have this plain soft cotton material. I picked the color from this adire. This adire has many colors. You can go to pick any color there. So I picked this burnt orange. I have like 1.5 years, and the 1.5 years will be used for both lining and the main fabric of the top parts. I have these 2 years. This adire is by 60. All this fabric here, they are by 60. So take note of that. I have this black fabric, lining of like 2 years. I'll be using it to line the adire. For this net, I have like 6 years of this net. I will be using it to gather some ruffles in between the lining and this fabric to give it some, more volume in that hip region. And I have these trimmings with me. I'll be using it to decorate the front bodice. So I'm likely to add some stone to it to give it to make it more beautiful. So let's get started. Here I already come with my basic bodice pattern. Here we have, this is the starting point, which is my shoulder line. I measure 1/2 inch here and I rule it. From there I mark 8.5, which is my chest line. 9.5 is my bust point. 12.5 is my underbust line. 16 is my waist line. The hip line is 22 inches. The actual hip line of the client is 24 inches, but for this project we'll be stepping up with 2 inches to get our hip line. So hip line we'll be using is 22 inches. So this is my armhole line of 7.5 inches. We have 1 inch shoulder slope, then armhole line of 7.5 inches. That is bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5. That's how we get 7.5 inches. So the next thing we'll be doing straight up is to get the armhole cuff. So we come to this side, we measure what we are having after shoulder slope. We have a 7.5. We divide it by 2. 7.5 divided by 2 give us 3.75. Then on this midpoint, we step inward with a 0.75. That's a 3/4. Then we get our bust measurements. The bust measurements we are working with is 34 divided by 4. That is 8.5. So we measure 8.5 on the chest line. 8.5. So that is what we use to connect. To get our armhole cuff. Just place your cuff. Cuff this way. Just connect it straight up. So mind you, my pattern paper is on fold. Then I come to the waist line. I get my waist measurement there. The waist measurement we are working with is 27. When we divide it by 4, it gives us a 6 3/4. So we measure 6 3/4 on this waistline. 6 3/4. So for this project, we are not making use of darts. We are not inputting our darts here. So we come to the hip line. We get the hip measurement divided by 4. That is, hip measurement is 38 divided by 4, give us 9.5. We mark it here. Then we connect it from the armpit region. We connect to the waist. Then from the waist, we connect to the hip. So the next thing we'll be doing is to get our underbust cup. So you can see that cup. You see some pleating there under the bust. So on the underbust, we step up with 2 inches. Then we place our curve this way to connect. Just like that. So we come to the hip region to get that shape you are seeing there. So we come to the front here. We step inward, center front here. We step inward with 5 inches. You can use 5.5, depending on the size of the client. So then you come to this side, you step upward with 3 inches. Then you take your cuff rule to connect it. So you connect it this way. Then you come to this side as well. You step upward with 3 inches as well. 3 inches. Then you connect to this end. You connect to this very first one. Yeah, that's it. We come to the neckline region, because in that thumbnail, the neckline we are having there is a V-neck. So this one you are seeing here is a normal basic bodice neckline. So I come to the width of the neckline will remain 3 inches, but for the depth I will be using 7 inches. You are good to use 8 inches or 6 inches, whichever way you prefer it. So then I pick my oval as well to connect. I connect it just this way to get my V neckline. So that is it. I think everything is in place now. So the next thing for us is to cut it out. Let me just measure this. I repeat the same hip measurement we are having here. So let me step in once more. I connect it, then I cut it out. So note that no seam allowance has been added to this pattern. So I come to this side. So I'll be making use of this later for the skirt part. So all we need in this one is this shape. So this is it. Before we go ahead and cut our underbust, so this is what we are having. See it, you can see that shape has already formed. Now let's move straight to the cup part of this our project. So this underbust region. So what we are going to do straight up is to get the midpoint of the shoulder region here. We have 4 here. We get the midpoint, which is 2 inches. So we come to this underbust. we get the midpoint as well. Here we have the midpoint, so we just connect it. Our connection is to this end, so just connect it. So now I want to cut it out now. So this is one part, this is one part. So for this part now, what I will be doing is I'm going to do slash and spread method for this part. So let me just open this one. I will be dealing with only one now. The purpose of letting my pattern unfold is to so that you can see this effect. So the next thing I'll be doing is to open this region. So don't cut everything, stop somewhere before the end of that. So the next thing you'll be doing is to take this to your fabric and get it open. So here you can make this place 1 inch, you can make it 1.5. I'll be making mine 1.5. So it depends on how fuller you want the gathers to be under your bust. If you are a big bust, you can spread it as much as 2.5 or to 3 inches. But for this person, I will just be opening it like 1.5 distance for her. So let me take it to the fabric and cut it out and come and show you. And note that joining allowance will be added, half an inch joining allowance will be added down here. Half an inch. So half an inch at the shoulder line here. Half an inch will be added here. But for the side, I'll be using 1 inch. 1 inch seam allowance for the side. So let me take it to the. Okay, before I cut it out, so I cut out my fabric. Let me demonstrate the back cut for you. I've come with my back pattern, and what I'm having here, I first of all measure 1 inch as my zipper allowance, 1 inch, and I rule it down. Then I get some of the measurements I got in the front. I measure half an inch, which is my shoulder line, and will serve as my starting point as well. I get my chest line of 8.5. I get my half length of 16 inches and the hip line of 22 inches. The remaining is left for the purpose. Then I get my shoulder slope of 1 inch, then 7.5 as my armhole line. So on it, I get the midpoint of this 7.5 now, which is 3/3. So I step inward with like half of an inch. This is the back. You can use cut yourself. So you come to the chest line. I get my bust measurements of 34 divided by 4, 8.5. I connect it to get my armhole cuff. So I come to the waist. The waist measurement is 27 divided by 4, give me 6/3. Hip measurement is 38 divided by 4, give me 9.5. 9.5. So I come to the zipper allowance. I step inward with a half an inch to shape my center back to avoid the zipper bulging. So I step up from my chest line with 2 inches. So I connect from this half to beneath this. Then from here I connect to the original hip line. So this half an inch that I step inward, I will return it on this waistline before I connect everything. So I connect now. Armpit region to the waistline, then from there to my hip line. So I will do the same thing I did in the front to shape at the hip line region here. There is nothing like a underbust for the back. So I step inward from this line for my 5 inches. I step up here with 3 inches. Step up here with 3 inches as well. Then I connect it just the way I did in the this. So for the neckline, back neckline, I will use the same V neckline for the back, but for the back I will be using 6 inches as the depth of my neck. So this remain the same, 3 inches. So I get my V neckline for the back as well. I will connect this. So I think that's all for the back cut. I will be adding the seam allowance on my fabric. This is going to serve for the back. Let me cut the neckline. This is the back cut. So I'll go ahead and use this to cut out my fabric, adding 1 inch as my side seam, then half an inch here, half an inch here. Yeah, that is for the back. Let's do our slash and spread for the front. Now I've gone ahead to cut out my fabric. Half an inch is being added at the down part here, in the underbust region. I added half an inch at the shoulder region. Then 1 inch is being added as my joining allowance. Is on fold. And I later use 2 inches to do my slash and spread, because I want that gathers to be obvious in that region. I cut out lining, the same fabric I use to cut out my lining, the same way. Then this is the down part. Half an inch is being added here, 1 inch is being added by the side, half an inch here. So, and I cut out to same fabric for my lining. I will later go and add the gum light interfacing to it to give it a little bit stamina, because this cutting is very, very soft. For the back cut, this is the back cut. Half an inch is being added at the shoulder region here, then 1 inch by the side, half an inch here, half an inch here. So I cut out the lining the same way. So I will go and add my interfacing, then do the joining. Then I come and show you how to go about the skirt parts.